Hey guys, it's Bill from Linden, Tennessee. So yesterday, Friday, and today, Saturday, I have been working on the Volkswagen, giving the Cub a break for a little while. I got a whole box full of stuff from Parts Place. It's a Volkswagen parts supplier online. They're really good people. Call them up and they give immediate service, and they'll call you back, and they're really good, good customer service. It's nice to find those every once in a while. But anyway, I have rebuilt the driver's side CV joint, driver's side axles, and I put a new boot on the driver's side steering. Those were all broken. They were all cracked, and it's not good. So, and I also, I don't know if you can, not gonna be able to see it, but yeah, you can. Got a new boot on the passenger side steering. The passenger side CV joints drive shaft is still out. It is over here on the table. I'm taking it apart. I've taken it apart and cleaned it and kind of inspected it, and I'm going to put it back together now. So these are really fascinating little devices. Some very precision machining, and these little balls are polished. They're really slippery because they don't have any surface imperfections. They're real slippery, and they bounce really good too because they're hardened. So. And these are all hardened, and I mean, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but you know, these are like the distance across these little the inside is narrower on the top than it is on the bottom. Yeah, you can see that. And then likewise inside of here, those little passages sort of narrow towards the bottom. I don't have any idea how they machine this. I'm a beginner to intermediate machinist, I guess you'd say, probably more beginner. I don't have a clue how they do this. So anyway, but this is all hardened, and all that stuff kind of fascinates me. So this is the outer one. So that's where your disc brake bolts to, and then your wheel, obviously. But so this is the outer one. This one is responsible for some really high degree of deflection whenever you're steering. So it goes through a lot of motion whenever you're steering. Now the inner one, this is the one nearest on the transmission. This one has got some different responsibilities. It takes into account the difference in drive shaft length as the suspension goes through its travel up and down. The drive shaft effectively will become longer, or the distance between the inner and outer CV will change. Obviously, the transmission can't move, and the disc's not going to move, so this CV joint here has to account for that, and it also has to take up the up and down movement of the drive shaft. So a lot going on there. Some pretty neat machining in this too. Yeah, so that's kind of that. And CV joints are kind of cool. That whenever they are turned or going through their angles of motion, they keep a constant velocity. If you're familiar with regular U-joints, whenever you have a U-joint like this and you've got it at a steep angle, the drive shaft itself will speed up and slow down. There's some pretty neat YouTube videos sort of demonstrating how that works, but it's a problem. I have that very problem with my Jeep, that at low speed I get a pretty good vibration because my angles are all wonky, but CV joints don't do that. There's a few different kinds of CV joints. There's what's called a tripod, T-R-I-P-O-D, tripod. This particular one doesn't have it. And Rezepa, I think this is the Rezepa, and I'm not sure what just the standard CV joint is called. Maybe it's just a CV joint, but Teslas use a tripod joint on their inner. Anyway, so yeah, and there's your dual drive shaft. So that's what I got going on now. So let me get this together, and I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay, so here we are back together. The inners are a whole lot easier to assemble than the rears. You basically have this cage out, and this inner race out, and you load up all the bearings inside the cage. They kind of snap in there, and then you put it in there at a 90-degree angle, and you turn it. The inner ones are a little bit more tricky. you have to put the cage and the inner race in there without any of the balls. And then you twist this cage back, load one, come about 30 degree, or, over to the every other one, and twist it all back and twist it all back. And then you just kind of load them all around. And it's really tight. It's really tight right now, which is good. That's good. If it was real loose and floppy, we'd have a problem. So this thing's basically assembled now. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the drive shaft, kind of clean it up a little bit more, and go ahead and paint it. And then once the paint's dry, I'll find my boots wherever I put them and reassemble them. Hold on for a second. Okay, so I mentioned Parts Place Incorporated. So what I've done is I bought the little boot kits, and the outer boot kit is $11. The inner boot kit's $17. So 22 and 34 is 57, and no, it's not. It's 56. Anyway, $56. Or you can just get the CV joints themselves, and the let's see, one of them's 90, one of them's 100. You can do it that way, or you can come over here on this page and then just get remanufactured axles that are already done. One of them, yeah, they're both $120. So, what we got? $50 for the boots. Maybe just under like $90 if you just get the CVs themselves and use your existing axles, or $120 for the whole dang thing. Yeah, I don't have any time constraints, so I'm not too worried about it. Instead of spending $220, I spent like $50, and I can use that other money for like a stereo or something. I don't know, but if you don't want to get involved with this and you don't want to mess up your parts cleaner and go through the annoyance of doing all of this, and you just want to have it done, it's definitely better money to just get some remanufactured ones. Yeah, so that'll and they even sell new ones, and they're the same price as the remanufactured ones. So I'm not sure why you'd even get remanufactured ones. I'm not. So yeah, that's all. When I get these installed, I'll bring you back on and tell you what's next. All right, see you in a bit. I thought I was going to have a problem with this inner CV. It just wasn't smooth, and I kind of took it apart and inspected it a little closer, and there is some wear on the outer race. I guess that's the part you can see right now, the painted black part. There's like the boot, and then the bolts, and then the silver part, and then that black part. That's the outer race of the CV. And there is some wear on it, but I went ahead and installed it anyway just to see how it feels, just turning the hub, and it feels just fine. So I'm going to keep it as is, and if it turns out, down the road, literally, that it's making some noise or there's some vibration or something in it and it just feels wrong, then I would go ahead and pull this CV, this whole axle shaft out and replace it. This side is far easier to remove than the other side. So if it comes down to it, then that's what I'll do, and that'll be just fine. But for now, it's installed, and I've started replacing the linkages, like the bushings and all the stuff, the bearings and stuff on the shift linkage. Probably unnecessary, but might as well do it while it's all apart, and it's much easier to get to. So, but that's what I'm up to now, and I'll probably finish that up tomorrow. And I think tomorrow I'm going to drop this oil pan and see if I can't get these pistons out and run my little hone through it. I got me a little hone. So, yeah. See if I can't do that. So that is what I'm up to. So, all right, we'll see you later. All right, guys, next day here. Got a little bit more work done. Obviously, I got the pistons out. When I bought the master rebuild kit, came with all the gaskets, head gasket and stuff, I went ahead and bought new connecting rod bearings to go with it. Now, most of these look fine, just a sort of normal wear. I don't know how many miles on it. The odometer is showing 48,000. I'm inclined to think that that's probably right, but maybe not. However, number 3 connecting rod, this is on the piston side of the connecting rod, shows some pretty good wear. I'm not really sure what would have caused that. Oil starvation on that journal, I'm not sure. I hope that's not it. But the other ones are fine. All the pistons themselves look fine. This is the number 4, and it had looks like a little bit excessive scoring. I don't really like the look of that, but the cylinder wall doesn't look terrible. So these are aluminum, so it doesn't take a whole lot for it to do that. I don't know why that would have happened, but there it is. The other 3 look fine. The top of this piston, got that little dink right there, and then sort of a chunk has been taken out right there somehow. Not sure how that happened, but you can't get new pistons for these, so run what you brung. And before I did the pistons, I was like, well, hey, I bought a new water pump, so I'm just going to replace this water pump real quick before I tackle the pistons. To replace the water pump, you have to take the entire water pump housing off. To get the water pump housing off, you have to take the air compressor off for the air conditioning, and then you have to take the bracket off for the air conditioning compressor. But to get that bracket off, you got to take the injector pump off. So you end up going down this little rabbit hole, thank you, Ryan, and of taking stuff apart. And it's man, it was like a quick job that turned into a couple hours, but you know, I did it anyway. Now let's talk cylinders. So this one, maybe that'll stay there. If you look down about right there where the tip of my finger is, there's a little dink, a little notch. I don't like that. If you look at this one, this is the one that had the little little cavity on the top of the piston. This is a pretty nasty. Yeah, that's nasty. That's not good. And then you kind of go on this one, the third one, about right there. It's worn. And then this one, you can see the evidence of the scoring from where the piston hit the walls of the cylinder head. So this is not good. This is not a good sign. This is what, you know, this is the what I found after using that little dude to get all the gook, all the crap off the cylinder walls. So I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Yeah, now I'm looking at that too. You can kind of see where it's all chunked up in that cylinder. That's not good, man. And obviously the only way to fix that is to take this block out, get it to a machine shop and bore the cylinders. At least hone them. Well, no, you probably have to bore them because that's a pretty significant chunk that's been taken out of there. I'm not sure that you can even get oversized pistons. So you probably need to turn this at least 10 over, maybe even 20 over to get through that. I'm not really sure if you can get 10 and 20 over pistons for these. I'll need to find that out. Yeah, this did not go well. So yeah. So I need to find that out and then make a decision if I want to go ahead with this. If I can't get new pistons, then the two options, well, one option if I want to keep it as a diesel is a remanufactured short block. If you can get one, you can get, I don't think you can get the 1.5 short blocks, 1.5 liter, but you can get the 1.6 liter short blocks, and I mean, that's fine. Another option, and I've been told to do that, I should do this anyway, I should have done this from the start, is to get an engine out of a more modern Volkswagen with a turbo diesel, because you get basically the same economy but more performance. And I didn't really want to do that because I mean, that's just a you have to redo the exhaust and I think there's electronic fuel injection. It's not electronic fuel injection, but it's electronic controls on the fuel injection, and there's just it's just a mess of wiring and fiddling around, and it may or may not even bolt up to the transaxle. I don't know, and I don't know. I need to kind of, or I could just put the pistons in and run it, and it may smoke a little bit. I may not get the full 52 horsepower, 48 horsepower, or whatever it is. But it'll definitely run. The number 2, this scoring down at the bottom of the number 1 isn't going to cause a problem for running. Like it's not going to affect the compression. Now this may affect compression. So there'll be some blow by when the cylinder's up here at the top. That's where they kind of stop going up, turn around, and go back down. So this is the worst. This is the worst one right here. So, anyway, all right. So that's what happened. That's where I've been this weekend, and yeah, that's all. So, think about it. All right. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.